जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय जय यशोदानंदन जय व्रजजन रंजन जय व्रजजन रंजन जय यमुना तीरवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय श्री निताई गौरचंद्र भगवान की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna. Today we are reading from Canto 1, Chapter 11, chapter entitled Lord Krishna's Entrance into Dwarka, text 37. Tamayam manyate loko hi asaṅgam api saṅginam ātmaupamyena manujam vyāpṛṇvānaṁ yato budhaḥ. Tamayam manyate loko hi asaṅgam api saṅginam ātmaupamyena manujam vyāpṛṇvānaṁ yato budhaḥ. Tamayam manyate loko hi asaṅgam api saṅginam ātmaupamyena manujam vyāpṛṇvānaṁ yato budhaḥ.
ātmaupamyena manujam vyāpṛṇvānaṁ yato tamayam manyate loko yasaṅgam saṅginam ātmaupamyena manujam vyāpṛṇvānaṁ yato
Mataji.
tamayam manyate loko
Saṅginam.
ātmaupamyena manujam vyāpṛṇvānaṁ yato
Word to word meaning and translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada. Come unto Lord Kṛṣṇa. Ayam, all these common man. Manyate, do speculate with the mind. Lokaḥ, the conditioned souls. He, certainly. Asaṅgam, unattached. Api, in spite of. Saṅginam, affected. Ātma, self. Aupamyena, by comparison with the self. Manujam, ordinary man. vyāpṛṇvānaṁ, being engaged in. Yataḥ, because. Abudhaḥ, foolish because of ignorance. Translation: the common materialistic conditioned souls speculate that the Lord is one of them. Out of their ignorance, they think that the Lord is affected by matter, although he is unattached. Purport: the word abudhaḥ is significant here. Due to ignorance only, the foolish mundane wranglers misunderstand the Supreme Lord and spread their foolish imaginations amongst the innocent persons by propaganda. The Supreme Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa is the original primeval personality of Godhead, and when he was personally present before the eyes of everyone, he displayed full-fledged divine potency in every field of activities. As we have already explained in the first verse of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, he is completely independent to act however he likes, but all his actions are full of bliss, knowledge, and eternity. Only the foolish mundaners misunderstand him, unaware of his eternal form of knowledge and bliss, which is confirmed in the Bhagavad-gītā and Upaniṣads. His different potencies work in a perfect plan of natural sequence, and doing everything by the agency of his different potencies, he remains eternally the supreme independent. When he descends on the material world by his causeless mercy to different living beings, he does so by his own potency. He is not subjected to any condition of material modes of nature, and he descends as he is originally. The mental speculators misunderstand him as Supreme Person. The mental speculators misunderstand him as the Supreme Person, and they consider his impersonal feature as inexplicable Brahman to be all. Such a conception is also the product of conditioned life because they cannot go beyond their own personal capacity. Therefore, one who considers the Lord on the level of one's limited potency is only a common man. Such a man cannot be convinced that the personality of Godhead is always unaffected by the modes of material nature. He cannot understand that the sun is always unaffected by infectious matter. The mental speculators compare everything from the standpoint of experimental knowledge of their own selves. Thus, when the Lord is found to act like an ordinary person in matrimonial bondage, they consider him to be like one of them, without considering that the Lord can at once marry 16,000 wives or more. Due to poor fund of knowledge, they accept one side of picture while disbelieving the other. This means that due to ignorance only, they always think of Lord Krishna as like themselves and make their own conclusions, which are absurd and unauthentic from the version of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुर्वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितां तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरतुषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुतरेव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि श्री गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So I welcome all the devotees for this morning Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam class, and I seek blessings of all the devotees sitting here, so I can do this service, discuss something from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which will please all of you, which will glorify the Supreme Lord and purify my heart. And during the course, whatever pleases you in the explanation, that is all mercy of all the senior devotees, superiors, acharyas from their things. And if find anything which is not good, that is my improper way of presenting, so please. So this is very beautiful section going on. That day His Grace Jyotaya Prabhu was mentioning this is a trailer given of 10th canto. In first canto we have some pastimes of Lord Krishna, Dwarka, and in third canto also Uddhavji gives narration to Maitreya Muni, in 3 chapters, zip file of 10th canto, some summary section. So here also it is explained, and very topmost rasa, Madhurya rasa, Krishna's pastimes with his queens, or that explanation is given how they welcome Krishna when Krishna entered into the Dwarka. And when it is mentioned Krishna having 16,000 plus wives, so So any person, like in this material world, mostly people, they judge things. We have pratyaksha praman, anuman praman, and shabda praman. So mostly people take knowledge. They with pratyaksha, or they do some guesswork, anuman. Now very few are they take knowledge from shabda praman. So as soon as they hear Krishna married 16,000 wives, means he must be a person who has afflicted by kama, or he has those desire. So in order to give defined, or in order to tell Krishna's supremacy, this yesterday also the shloka came, Uddama, that it was explained in that way. And today also Shukdev Goswami is mentioning here that Krishna is not an ordinary person. He's not attached to this material world, or he's not affected by the three modes of material nature. Yeah. So people generally judge in this world, and even Krishna's pastime also, like understanding the material thing is so difficult, and what to speak of spiritual subject matter. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is mentioned that when Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was in South Indian tour, yatra. So that time he visited Sri Rangam to take darshan of Lord Ranganath. And it happened to be a Chaturmas, rainy season. So that time, one of the great Sri Vaishnava of that time, Srila Venkata Bhatt, he invited Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at his home to stay and give service to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was staying at his home, they used to discuss Krishna Katha. And in that, even Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will discuss various esoteric pastimes of Krishna's Rasalila and other subject matter. So from this we can also learn that, like Bhagavatam, Gaurang Darshan Guru was mentioning, if you see the Bhagavatam, it's mostly between even two personalities sitting and discussing, like Maitreya Muni and Vidurji, Maitreya Muni, Uddhava and Maitreya Muni, or it was like discussion for Shukdev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. So whenever we also meet, if it's a discussion service, plus if that is related to Bhagavatam, will be very glorious. So in that discussion, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he asked Shri Venkata Bhatt that Mother Lakshmi, she's a very chaste wife of Lord Narayana. Then how come that she's asking entrance in a Rasa Leela? And why is the Krishna giving more rasa, or is Krishna offering something else? How is that she's being chaste wife, always massaging the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu, Lord Narayana sitting, and why she's asking for entrance? So like that he was asking. Then Srila Venkata Bhatt, he says that, he gives a reply that Amhi jiva shudra buddhi sahaja astir ishvare lila koti samudra gambhir. So he says that Ishvara Lila, the Krishna's pastimes are Gambhir. Gambhir, one is a serious, and other world is also deep. So how deep it is? Samudra Gambhir, deep as a ocean. How deep ocean? It's very deep. And one samudra, no, koti samudra. So ek samudra ke upar ek samudra, aise koti samudra, that is the depth of Ishvarela Leela. So how then conditions of, or who is trying to understand Krishna how we can understand his pastimes. And then in the verse he says Ami Jiva. So Jiva is a very tiny part and parcel of Krishna, 1/10,000 of tip of hair. That's what is our size. Or it's Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj was mentioning that if we stand in front of Mahavishnu, we are not even dot. So Lord is such a big personality in the physical terms. So we are a jiva. And how he said? Shudra buddhi. Shudra is not that Brahman, Kshatriya. Shudra is a very small, tiny. So how is our intelligence, which is very small? And with that small intelligence, how can we understand the Koti Samudra Gambhir pastimes of the Lord? So like that he gives example. So even we can see that the spiritual subject matters, even in this material world, so there are so many subject matters which we cannot understand. A doctor cannot understand the engineering related thing, or engineer cannot understand that. So this even matter, it's difficult to understand. Then what to speak of little subtle things. Now we have in fifth canto the cosmology is mentioned, and so much of study is being done, and again new things keeps on coming. Cosmology, or there is embryology, so many things. Then after that there is a spiritual thing, and even in the spiritual thing there is a Krishna's pastimes with Vrajavasi. In that also there is a pastimes with the gopis or Madhurya Lila. So that way. So like that, when we were in the Kumbha, so people in this world generally they imitate Krishna's pastimes. They will not accept Krishna's other pastimes, but they will accept Krishna's Rasa Leela. If we tell them Govardhan, Krishna lifted Govardhan, or he consumed the forest fire, or he danced on the, so they will say no, it's the common, or it's a imagination, or it's mythology. But when they want to do certain things, they say, "Ha, Krishna did Raslila, so we are also doing." So this is half in logic. No? So in 2019 we were in the Kumbh Mela, and we had very big pandal. So our morning program and afternoon some program used to be happen. So in one evening, like our team was in charge of stage and sound system. So we were sitting there, and one group of people they came and they said, "Arey, your pandal is very big and stage is also very nice. So do you have any program in the evening?" We said, "Evening we don't have, we have morning." So he said, "Acha, so evening can you give us for Rasa Leela?" So we do Rasa Leela. So you can ask your senior. I said, no, we can. I was sure that nobody will give permission. So I only said them. So they said, "अरे आप लोग रास लीला नहीं करते क्या?" बोला, "हमारा मॉर्निंग में रहता है." Mangal Arati we do, and we sit in circles and we do japa, so you can come morning. So that way, so people they want to do imitate Krishna's pastime. So Prabhupada here is mentioning that the common materialistic conditioned souls speculate that the Lord is one of them, out of ignorance. So we see that there are many organizations or people, they put Krishna's position as per their understanding. So mostly if you see the young boys or girls, or so they will see it's as Radha Krishna, as some romance, or doing something like one time during Janmashtami at NVCC. So as in Janmashtami we used to have seva, voice through voice, that sit in stall, matchless gift stall. So there was a Radha Krishna deity, and some boys and girls they came, they were asking that date we have the show. So in that they were asking, "Oh, we just want Radha, we don't want Krishna," or say it was quite costly. So they said, "We just want Radha." So that way the people they don't understand Krishna's position, greatness, and they just put it's as something romantic affair. Or there are people who see it as Krishna as a Samaj Sudharak, great reformer, and he saved many kings from Jarasandha, or he protected many women, or he protected the Vrajavasis, or he always appreciated Brahmanas, or he used to kill the demons. So they see him as just a social reformer, Samaj Sudharak, and not more than that. So that is also Prabhupada is mentioning, because of their own conditionings, they are speculating. They are not taking it from Bhagavatam. So some people, even Krishna as Lord Ramachandra, they like Ramarajya. They see Krishna, Lord Ramachandra did very good administration, but they just accept him at that level, not more than that. Or some even some organizations, they place the position of the Supreme Lord as somebody who is a punisher or supreme judge. It's like an old person sitting, or like judge. If you do sinful activities, you will be sent to hell. If you do pious activity, you will be awarded. So these are wrong positions they are putting on Krishna based on their mental speculation. And even we can see from the scriptures that how Krishna is the Supreme Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhoktaram Yagyatapasa, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, Surudam Sarvabhutanam, Gyatva Mam Shanti Pruchati. He's a proprietor, he's the enjoyer, and more than that, he's a Suruda. The Krishna's the, if anybody asks, what is the Krishna's matlab, core business or what activity? So that is reciprocating with all the living entities. That is what Krishna's main purpose. He's a Rasaraj. He will reciprocate as with the living entities. And he's a very best friend of, he doesn't have any fault, he doesn't have any shortcomings, but then because of the own improper consciousness or anarthas, people see in that way. We see the Shishupal, that he was always finding faults with Krishna, and like we also sometimes we find fault and then we ourselves get regret, now why I'm doing this, or I want to get out of it, or this, we give benefit of doubt, at least we do that. But the Shishupal, he was convinced that Krishna is a wrong person, or he's a full of faults. It was his conviction, and that out of that conviction he was blaspheming Krishna, criticizing Krishna. Even we see that Duryodhana, when Lord Krishna went there as a peace messenger, and Krishna was there also, he showed Vishwarup. So they also said that Krishna, he's a great mystic, jadugar, like that. So they cannot see more than that, because they are not seeing the Lord with the eyes of devotion. Then we see the Kubja, when she met with Krishna before. When she met, that time she was also, she served Krishna. Then she came to the Krishna reform her body from a disabled body to proper body. And then after that also she was having, she appreciated Krishna, but still she wanted to enjoy with Krishna. With that eyes only she was seeing. And then later we see that she was transform, her heart transform, and then she was seeing the Lord in the proper way, as an object of service. Then we see even people now, our great Krishna consciousness movement, which is established by Srila Prabhupada, which is helping entire world, propagating Krishna consciousness, changing, people are changing their life, transformation is happening, and even more, even some problems which is like food relief and those things are done, and great officials, everybody is recognizing and thanking Prabhupada for establishing this society. Still there are people who see with the eyes of criticism, this money goes to waste, or this, that, or even early times, those peoples, they started the movie, the Marudam and all Hare Krishna. So they reported Prabhupada, that Prabhupada, so in even this situation also we can see Prabhupada was saying it very nicely. Prabhupada said that the Marudam will go away and Hare Krishna, Hare Ram will stay back. So that's what is a devotee. Then we see how when Krishna was entering in the wrestling arena, which was arranged by Kamsa, there also all the people, they were seeing the Lord with what was there. Now wrestler was saying Krishna is a very powerful person, or the ladies were seeing the Cupid personified, or so everybody was seeing Krishna in their own way. So we can see that even positive examples, Lord Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whenever he used to see any water body, so he used to see it's a Yamuna, or if he used to see any hill, mountain, it's a Govardhan, and will run in that. Then we see our acharyas also, if they have anybody who has devotion, love for Krishna, they will automatically see the things in that way. If there is anarthas, then people also put those anarthas on Krishna. So we see Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, we see his commentaries are very rasik commentaries. Even in the very technical section, he will give very esoteric meanings. Like we see in the first verse of Bhagavatam, Janmadyasya Yataḥ. So there are in Bhagavad Subhadani 5 commentaries are given, how Krishna is the independent, Swarat and all. And also there are 2 commentaries which says about Krishna's, Radha and Krishna, and their esotericism, which is given by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Or we see even in the 3rd canto, when Hiranyaksha is using critical words, criticizing Varahadev. That time, very blasphemous words are given, kind of galis, and but still we find in the there is also another meaning given by acharyas, which is like glorification. So even in the blasphemy, they can see Krishna's glorification. That is because their eyes, their heart is full of devotion for the Lord. They are not they are not ignorant, they are in full of knowledge. But those who are common man, no, those who are not mahatma, they are just common atma. So they see Krishna as one of the ordinary person. So we see even Srila Prabhupada, when he was traveling to America for preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya. So when when he arrived there, and in the board he was saying, and it is a very glamorous world. And that time was like, it was His Holiness Radhana Swami Maharaj says, where he saw first Indian in India, not there. So nowadays we find so many of people goes to America or other countries, but that time it was not there, and there was cherished desire of many people to go to West and settle there. So it was very glamorous, or very considered very developed country. But when Prabhupada went there, he did not see in that way. He saw it in Krishna's, through the perspective of Bhagavatam. And even in the prayers he says, Rajastamo gune era sabai achadana Vasudeva katharuchi nahi se prasanna. So Prabhupada was mentioning this Western countries. He didn't see it such a developed and such a technical things. All those, it might be there, but mostly these people are covered with the Rajaguna and Tamaguna. And Krishna, if they are covered with this, how they will understand your message? And because they are covered with the Rajaguna and Tamaguna, they don't have any taste for hearing your words. So now you only help me. And Prabhupada also used to say, this Bhagavatam, I am assisting Bhagavatam, I am going with the Bhagavatam. So I will glorify Bhagavatam, and through that people will get attracted. So we can see that these devotees, now when they have eyes filled with the loves for the Lord, want to serve, then they can see Krishna in proper way. And those who are not, those who are averse to Krishna's service, those who are averse to being subordinate to Krishna, they just speculate. Then, so before understanding Krishna's sweetness, we need to understand Krishna's greatness. Krishna has done so much of wonderful acts, even in terms of physical things. We see Krishna lifted Govardhan hill on the smallest finger of left hand, or Krishna consumed forest fire, or he danced on the Kaliya. So it's the snake's body is very slippery, but on that also he was dancing. And His Holiness Radhana Swami Maharaj, he was giving one in Ramayana class, he was mentioning that Lord Ramachandra asked ocean personified that give us way to go to Lanka, but that time he denied, and he was not giving the way. So then Lord Ramachandra, he got angry and he just raised his eyebrows. His eyes were very red, and that time the ocean started boiling. So that's the Lord's power, that he can even boil the ocean. And Maharaj was saying, if you raise, can even glass of water can boil. So we cannot put that ordinary disposition of Krishna. So even this is in terms of, let's say, we can see it's a physical, but more than that, like there is a lust at a gross level, then there is a subtle lust, which is very deeper. Again, giving this one maybe difficult, but still compared to this is easy, like maybe some image consciousness, or lack of opportunities, or no facility can be there, gross. But then the subtle is very difficult to give it up. And then there is a transcendent. So Lord, if we see, the Supreme Lord is not just gross way, he's completely pure person. Even if in subtle way, he doesn't have any those of disposition, being afflicted by the lust or three modes of material nature. We can see that Krishna, he became chariot driver of his own devotee, Arjuna, with no ego issues. And he's called as Parthasarthi. we see when Krishna, after killing of Kamsa, he made Ugrasen, the Kamsa's father, as king. And Krishna, even though he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he was reporting Ugrasen Maharaj. So that's how we can see that Krishna is not affected by any subtle prestige also. Then we see in the Rajasuya Yagya, Krishna was washing the feet of Brahmanas. So this shows that Krishna really doesn't have any prestige issue. And for this, more is a example of Sudama Brahman. Krishna is a Dwarkadish, so many 16,000 queens and so much of opulence. Still, when the Sudama Brahman he came, that time Krishna received him. There was no prestige issue. Otherwise, we see people when they are childhood friends and when they grow up. So one friend may be Lakpati, other may be Karodpati. But then Karodpati friend will have difficulties talking with Lakpati Lakpati person. So that's the prestige issue. But Krishna doesn't have any of that. And Krishna is such a person, Sarva Sandarya Sangraham, that in that Purport Prabhupada mentions that Krishna takes low profile for the sake glorifying his devotees. And Prabhupada there writes that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could have spread the mission all over the world, but then he wanted to give the credits. So he has given us the seva of spreading this message. Even we see when the Arjuna was on the battlefield, so Krishna, we have studied it earlier also. So Krishna, because of Krishna, Arjuna was saved time to time, and Jayadratha episode, and even from Bhishmadev. So all those things we see that, but still Krishna gives glories to his devotees. So why we are unable to see Krishna in that way? Because there is a tendency to enjoy this material world. When we want to lord over material world, then we cannot see Krishna's supremacy. We cannot see Krishna as our most intimate friend. And Rajshambhru says, because of lag, we don't lead in our spiritual life. So he says lag is lust, anger, greed. So the moment we give it, we lead, we start, our devotion, our spiritual advancement starts happening fast. So we can see that Krishna's supremacy, or Krishna's, how Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead through even small incidents. Prabhupada used to say, when somebody is drinking water and it's created by Krishna, or the pure air, so there is a great immediate chance to become Krishna conscious. Yeah, and Krishna is not only a great person in terms of his activities, but he's very magnanimous also. He can accommodate all. Like in the same Kumbh Mela time, evening time, we used to have a LCD screen where we used to show different videos. And one of the video was Sudama. Sudama is welcomed by Lord Kṛṣṇa, that Ramanand Sagar movie. So in that, actually many people we used to see, they used to cry, and the same crowd used to come next day also. So they said, this episode again, aaj bhi lagao isko. We want to hear that episode, see that episode today also. So why it is, so Krishna is a great person, but along with that he was magnanimous, he accepted. So that way, and then Krishna is not affected by three modes of material nature. We can see that as like whenever we see some wrong, let's say billboards or something ghastly scene or some wrong scene, so there is a agitation in the mind. Now imagine there are so many millions, unlimited living entities, and Krishna is sitting in everyone's heart as a Paramatma. So along with us, he is also seeing, and he keeping record also. But still he's not agitated, or the ghastly scene or whatever the thing is. There is no bewilderment or confusions, or there is only respect to whatever happens, emotions. Those things are not there. So we can understand that Krishna is not affected by that. We can see that how Krishna is detached from this material world. Like generally we see anybody build some tower or home, so immediately they put the nameplate, Now this world, this building belongs to this and this and all. But if you see Lord Krishna, he has created this material world to give no so-called enjoy. No, the jivas want to enjoy separate from Krishna. So Krishna has created a facility and is such a detached person. So in order to give us that facility, he has not even put any nameplate, or he has not he has given made such a thing, software, where we can also forget Krishna. Krishna is the supreme person, and so that we can enjoy our, he facilitates our enjoyment even through those tough things. And we see that even after doing so, he has made the arrangement. He has made arrangement to take us back also to spiritual world, and he himself is coming. He's sending his pure devotees. He's coming in the form of scriptures or holy name. And then we have been rejecting Krishna from many of lifetimes. We are saying no, but still Krishna is such a loving father, such a loving person. He's giving us. He's always with us, always ready to take us. He's always, even in the heart, he's also there in the heart of atheist, who is a blaspheming Krishna. So Krishna is not affected by three modes or the egoistic actions of living entities. We see in the Ramayana also, when Lord Ramachandra was ordered to go to Vanvas, like it was next day ceremony where Lord Ramachandra is going to enthrone, and then the previous day only it was said he has to go to Vanvas, and without any disturbance he accepted that. And in the same Ramayana, when Ravana, who created such atrocities and abducted his wife, and there was such a big war, after killing Ravana, Lord Ramachandra said to Bibhishan that do his tarpan. So then Bibhishan was saying, no, he's a great rascal. He did such a disservice to you. How I will not do. But Lord said, no, you have to do it. So we can see this is how the Supreme Lord. And so this way, Krishna is not affected by material modes, and he's not attached to the material world. Even we see now to understand Krishna's pastime in the Madhurya Ras is very difficult. Even the pastimes which he does with other rasas, Dasya Ras, like we see the Bali Maharaj pastimes, where Bali Maharaj surrendered everything, and then what Vamandev did, he was punishing, and the others were saying, even some criminal will not punish that way. How you are doing that, O Lord? But then later we see that Lord become the doorkeeper of Bali Maharaj palace. So this is how the Lord is inconceivable. Or we see in the Indra, who tried to kill all the Vrajavasis, and Vrajavasis are the most intimate associate of the Lord. He cannot tolerate any harm to them, and for that matter only Lord was staying at Dwarka, not staying in a Vrindavan, so that there will be no attack. But even to such a Indra, Lord forgive. And we say that when Krishna, when entered in the he was entering in the Mathura, there he asked one dhobi to give the cloths, and when he said no, he was killed. So if you see the judge in the external, the crime of this person, and this very the crime of dhobi looks to be very small, but still the Lord's activities we cannot understand. Is a Supreme Lord. So and then even we see in the Supreme Lord, his leelas or his pastimes are very difficult to understand, and we can see in the Damodar Leela that the Supreme Lord is a proprietor of everything. Now he owns everything, but still he acts as a butter thief, makanchor, or he's a Atmarama, self-satisfied, but we see that he's hungry for his mother's milk. So how to understand this? Or the Lord is the absolute truth, but he time to time speaks lies with his mothers in order to hide his mistake. Or we see he's a peace personified. He loves the Brahmanical culture, goodness, but still that Lord becomes angry in Damodar Leela. Or we see he's a fear personified, is fear of him, but he's a fearful of his mother Yashoda. And we see that he's the ultimate judge. Yamaraj is working under lords, but then he's waiting for the judgment of his mother, that now what mother is going to do with him. Or Krishna, who is a object of prayers by all the living entities, but then that Lord is taking scolding from his mother Yashoda. And Krishna is the supreme, his desires prevails. His desire is like, nobody can change his desire, but he but in that lila we see that he keeps his desire behind and makes his desire of his devotees prominent and gets bound. So we see, so that's Damodar Lila. Or we see even when Putana approached Lord Krishna, and her intention was to kill the Lord, no, by feeding the poison. But then the same Lord, he gave, he just took the intention of Putana and gave her the highest, gave her the position of mother in his spiritual abode. So by this we can understand that Krishna it's to understand Krishna's pastimes, it's difficult on our own terms. But when we see those pastimes through the eyes of scripture, through the eyes, by connecting with the Vaishnavas, through the eyes of acharyas, then we can understand. Like some days back we attended one conference. We happened to go to camp in GV, so that time we attended, and there was one person who was mentioning. Now there are actually so many research paper mention that those people mention that the Sanskrit or Indian culture came from Greek, or it's just very young civilized culture to the 2000 or 2500 years back. Like that, there are so many research papers, and this person, he's a scholar in that, he was refuting that no, it's not, it's quite old one. And like what he was presenting, really it was like bounce for us. It was so many things he was mentioning. And then, like, as a devotees, they hear everything, but then they ask, then like, who is the ultimate, is God? How is that? He said that is still research going on. He was mentioning that our Hindu, the scriptures are like, says there is a more knowledge. You keep on digging and will get it. Still we have not found out. So even after giving so much of research knowledge in the Vedas, he was quoting Yajurved, Samved, this Ved. And but he was like, God, the devotee asked question, what about that? So he said, it's still it's the knowledge is still searching. What is the absolute? Is the light, or is God person? So that way, but by the blessings of Srila Prabhupada and Acharyas, we have got this wonderful opportunity to get to know the Supreme Lord Kṛṣṇa. And we hear that now there is a staircase is the one way and lift is one way. So the Acharyas, they have mercifully lifted us to that. And if we always hear from them, we being in line with their purports and their teachings, we'll also one day will able to understand whatever way we cannot fully understand Krishna's pastimes. Even Krishna is unable to, because his attributes, his qualities are even increasing now. So we'll be able to figure it out. Not figure it out, we'll understand some way, and we'll worship those qualities, worship the Supreme Lord in proper way, and not like a conditioned soul or common person who put their disposition on Krishna, that Krishna is also affected by matter or is also unattached. So the Supreme Lord is not that. He's the most pure person who is not affected by three modes. He's a ever liberated person, and even by worshipping him, his devotees or the other people, they get liberated from this conditioning. Then how that Lord will be conditions. So thank you very much. If I have spoken any wrong thing, or please forgive for that. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Granthara Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Ki, Srila Prabhupada Ki.